Hey there, this is Therese Skelly, and I am so excited that you are going to be listening to an episode of the Fiercely Brilliant podcast. Do you like those two words? Fiercely Brilliant. My hypothesis is that you are here for a reason. We all are. Our souls have led us on journeys that have very often taken some twists and turns, and sometimes it's not pretty. Sometimes there's struggle and there's loss and there's challenge, and in the middle of that, there's always a way out. And it's those times that often lead us into our great life and work. So you're going to hear stories in these episodes of myself and other beautiful people that share the journey. They share how they got to the place where they're standing, working in their brilliance, and being the powerful leaders that they are. So stay tuned and enjoy this episode. Hey, this is Therese, and I want to share on this broadcast of the Fiercely Brilliant podcast, I want to share a personal story and just the invitation to know that life is always supporting you. That literally when you set your intention and then you look for the clues, it's crazy how it works out. So let me share a story with you. All right. So not such a great story. This part, my son vapes. They both do. And they're both, when they were younger, I was like, okay, it's fine that you're 12 and you're vaping because maybe you won't smoke cigarettes. And now, 10 years later, they're both massively addicted to nicotine. But you just do your best as a parent, right? So anyway, my son, John, vapes. And he's like, at some point I want to stop. And I said, yeah, maybe I know there's hypnotherapists that do that. So maybe we can look into that. All right. So I'm on my phone and I have the Insight Timer meditation app, which if you don't have it, it's fabulous. Insight Timer. I use it like multiple times a day. It's one of my favorite apps. So I come across in the app, my friend, William Wood. And William, I was connected with him like 5 years ago. I spoke at his event and just have instant respect for him. He's a hypnotherapist. And so I made the mental note, like, that's crazy. William's here. Hey, let me go check out William's website. And so I look at William's website about hypnotherapy and all the things. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then I'm noticing. So I don't know if you know this part of the story, but last year was really hard on me. Last year, so if you're listening to this, I'm talking about 2021. Started with the dog got killed. I got COVID really, really badly for months. And then my son was very, very ill for about a 6-month period. And then when it got better, then I broke my finger and had to have a surgery. So pretty much the whole year was in response to trauma or in response to just like, holy shit, I have no energy for my business, right? So what happened is I feel like my energy got normed around guarding my health, guarding my energy, protecting my family, you're sick and kids sick and all the things. So what I'm aware of is like in February of now 2022, I'm like, okay, I'm back. I have fabulous energy. Woo! Fingers doing better, kids doing better, my lungs are better from post-COVID. And so I'm like, all right, yes. And I have all these ideas and I'm raring to go. And I'm like, what the hell? What's happening to me here? I would notice that I would start exercising for 1 week because to me, health is everything. And going from pretty sickly and not able to do much in 2021, I'm like, all right, girl, go. So I did a week of just planks and because I can't do a whole lot with my hand yet, but I was like, okay, there are things you can do, go, right? And then very suddenly I'm just not doing anything. No thought, just, well, that was weird. And then I would say, okay, you have the whole weekend free. Scott's out of town. Like, woo, you could clean you could like really declutter. You could like really do some awesome cleaning. And then Sunday night would come around and I'm like, okay, yeah, that was weird. Why in the world did you do nothing? Like what? So what I discovered about myself is that there was something in me that was sabotaging. That's how I envisioned it, right? I'm like, why is it that I set these goals and they're not unrealistic goals and they're goals that I absolutely desire. There's no conflict with me. Like there's no like, no, I'd rather be lazy and have clutter. Like there's none of that happening. It's just like, yeah, no, I really need to do this. Why then am I stopping myself? So then I remembered, hey, wait, let's check out William. Like screw John. Screw John's vaping problem. Screw John can handle that. I think I'll go just check out William. So I book a session. I have a little 15-minute, his process, a little 15-minute intro. And I tell him my thing. And he says, oh, by the way, have you had any trauma? And I like, one of those like, do you have 6 hours? Like, can we talk about trauma? Yeah, last year was the worst year I ever lived. And I had a whole bunch of trauma prior to that. So yeah, trauma has very much been a part of what I've dealt with and overcome and lived with, right? So he's so sharp. He says, yeah, I can see you kind of going back and forth in between like regular state and then trauma state. And so he's talking about, selling me sessions, and he does it in packages. So I got to tell you, I'm thinking, because I've done so much bloody work on myself, I'm thinking, I'll get a session, like just a little session. Then I'll go back to doing planks and I'll declutter my office. Like, okay, what? Like, that's how I thought in the beginning. And so William says, well, you can buy a pack of 4 and it would be this, and a pack of 10 and it would be that price. And I'm like, wait, like you're talking to me, like I'm freaking mama mindset. Like, what? I need 10 and I got to tell you, maybe you're relating to this. And I want to be really transparent, because there is a thing when you have achieved a certain level of what you think is good health or you think is success, and then somebody shines a mirror and says, yeah, and you could use more help. Because I have no problem receiving help. I really, like I know the areas that I can use help in, but I didn't think that I needed 10 hours or 10 sessions of trauma work, basically, right? And so that's like part one of the message is always follow the clues, right? So I was following the clues to go to William for my son. And then I get the instinct of like, yeah, no, William's going to help you on your journey. And then I was presented with 10 sessions, and I was just kind of like, it was really like eating some humble pie, like, oh, okay. And truthfully, the reason I took 10 is because it was a significantly better deal. It's the bulk thing, right? And I'm like, all right, grabbed it, paid him right away. And he couldn't see me for 4 or 5 weeks because he's got a big waiting list. So I was a little like, what? My God, okay, here I go. Starting on this, that's fine. In the interim, in the time that I had to wait for my session with William, magic happened to me, for me. Because I set an intention last year that I desire more connection, more supportive relationships in my life. People giving to me what I give to them, because I'm like super thoughtful and I'm the friend that's always checking on you. And I'm, and I am like, all right, Spirit, I'm ready to receive more. Now I have energy. I'm ready to receive more. I'm ready to increase my good. I'm ready to hang around with, I want a bunch of new women and with new people in my, yeah, that's what I want. Okay. So what happened is that month in between when I had my first call with William and the second call with William, I won't go into all the details, but holy shit. Like my world blew apart in a good way. Opportunities dropped in, connections were made. So here I'm thinking, I'm going to William going, okay, making me do my planks. Like, what the hell? I can't do planks. And now I'm going to William going, holy shit, I have opportunities to play at such another level, to be working with and masterminding with and partnering with people that are at, so much higher levels than I have been. Yeah, that's why I need the 10 session. And so our very first session, I had to clear a lot of trauma just dealing with my really sick child last year. It was very traumatic, very, very traumatic. And so, there's a concept called conflicting intentions. And I'm fucking mama mindset. I know this stuff inside and out. I teach it, I do it, I live it. And so I came into William, I said, there's a part of me that I'm really ready to move forward. Like I want to rock. And there's another part of me that is really guarding my energy. And that's called a conflicting intention. So the part of me that for a year was either sick or dealing with my very sick child and dealing with the trauma of what was happening around all that, that part's like, you need to rest. And then I freaking break my hand, like very severe hand injury. And then it's like, well, not only do you can't even fucking type. you can't even brush your teeth with your dominant. Like it was so bad. So my body got really normed. The protective part of me is like, oh no, honey, you have to rest. You have to rest. So do you see the conflict here, right? The part of me that's like, this is February 2022. Yeah, let's go, baby. And the other part's like, yeah, but you might need rest and you might be tired and so it sounds kind of weird, but I was aware that these parts were going to fight each other. And I will tell you, whenever there's this kind of conflict, the one that wants safety, the one that is protecting, is always going to win. That's why, weirdly, I couldn't declutter myself or I couldn't do my plagues, because the safety piece, the one that's like, don't get too overwhelmed, don't get too burdened, don't take too much on. You need to rest. You've been through a lot, right? And then there was a couple more parts that William found that I had not an idea, but I knew. So it's fascinating. And this story really is, did you notice I set the intention earlier in like November, December of 2021 and just said, all right, Spirit, I'm ready for the up level. I'm ready for the new people. I'm ready to become the version of me. And in order to do that, I need new people in my life. Not that the old ones were bad or wrong, but I wanted to elevate, right? And I need more physical energy because 2021 kicked the shit out of me. I need to be a better, stronger, more energetic, more full of my capacity self. Okay, that was my intention. And then suddenly I'm like, weird. I see William on Inside Timer. Okay, that'll help John. That was the thread that got me there. And then my intuition says, yeah, maybe you should have a session. So I did it. And then my ego's like, what? I have enough trauma to have 10 sessions? And I could have let my ego stop me, but I always freaking trust. And, part of him like taking the money out and paying him, I'm like, what the hell, really? But I'm like, no, this is divine. This thread is divine. Like, follow this thread. You don't know where it's going? Go follow it. Our second session I had, just had it last week. It was like, we did some trauma and trauma clearing, trauma release. And then we're just expanding my next level version. At the very end of the call, William says to me, it feels like this is sacred ground. We're working on sacred ground. And I'm like, yes. When I heard that, I'm like, yes, this has been all divinely ordered. It has been absolutely set up because my next level is right there. And I needed some support and I didn't know what I needed, right? But strange, all the threads. And so that's the teaching. Listen to your, number one, set your intention. Number two, listen to your intuition. Number three, follow the freaking crumbs, even if it makes no sense. Say yes, even when your ego's going, what the fuck? Like, why do I have to do that? And pay the money. Just pay the damn money, right? Seriously, whatever it costs to get the support you need, make the investment. There's nothing more important than you're investing in yourself. Nothing is more important than that. So I really want to encourage you to do that. And I hope you have enjoyed this story. I would love to hear, what are you working on? Seriously, email me, message me. What are you working on? And what's that next level version? Like, I knew in order to get that next level version, I needed a new operating system because my old operating system was kind of battered by a lot of trauma. And the new one, I'm like, oh, hell no. This version of me, no relationship to trauma, just soul fuel, just going towards the good that I'm supposed to do in the world. All right. I'm so happy to be with you today. And if you need any support, the stuff that I talked about, William, this is also the stuff I do. And so if you're like, yeah, I feel really stuck in, or I know that I'm supposed to do more, but God dang it, I'm not able to get that. Like if you have the pain of untapped potential, like I have had in the past, that's the perfect thing to work on with me. So I would love to hear from you. Peace and blessings. And thanks for listening. Much love. Bye now.
Hey, this is Therese, and I'm so excited that you were with us today for another episode of the Fiercely Brilliant podcast. If you are inspired to get to that brilliant place, if you heard some wisdom today that made you think, yeah, I need some help in that area, I would encourage you to have a conversation with me. Super simple. You just go to thereseskelly.com/let's connect. It's a no charge, no pressure conversation. And if I can support you to clear the blocks, to really step into that brilliance, oh my gosh, it would be a delight. And I'll be honest with you, we'll just have a great conversation and see where we can take it. Peace and blessings. Bye.